It is noon in the Kalahari Desert. The sun is directly overhead. The temperature is 42 degrees Celsius. A kudu antelope stands in the open bush, already nervous, and a single human figure appears on the horizon. Not running fast, not sprinting, just jogging at a steady pace. The kudu bolts into the distance. The human follows without speeding up. The kudu disappears over a ridge. The human does not stop. This is persistence hunting, and it is one of the most extraordinary things a human body can do. Before we had bows, before we had traps, before we had any weapon worth mentioning, we had this: the ability to run an animal to death in the midday heat. Not by being faster, by being the one thing on the savanna that does not overheat. You are not the strongest creature that ever lived. You are not the fastest animal on this planet. You do not have claws or venom or armor. But you have something that almost nothing else on Earth has in the same combination. You sweat from almost every inch of your skin, and that single biological fact changed everything about what humans could do. Here's what most people do not realize about the animal kingdom. Almost every other mammal on Earth cools itself by panting. Dogs pant, lions pant, zebras pant, wildebeest pant. Panting works by pushing air rapidly over a wet surface inside the mouth. The moisture evaporates and pulls heat out of the blood passing through. It is effective, but it has one critical flaw. You cannot pant efficiently and run at the same time. When a four-legged animal gallops, its breathing is locked to its stride. One breath per stride cycle, forced by the compression of the body. This is called locomotor respiratory coupling. It means that when a cheetah is at full sprint, it is already fighting for air. It means that when a wildebeest runs hard, its cooling system is compromised. The faster a four-legged mammal runs, the harder it becomes to cool down. So they run in bursts. They sprint, they stop, they pant, they recover, then they sprint again. They have no other option. Now here's what your body does instead. You have between 2 and 4 million sweat glands distributed across your skin. Most mammals have almost none, or have them only on the pads of their paws. When your core temperature rises, those glands activate automatically. Sweat moves to the surface of your skin and evaporates directly into the surrounding air. This pulls heat out of your body continuously, even while you are moving, even while you are breathing normally, even at a steady jog under a blazing midday sun. Your cooling system and your locomotion system are completely independent of each other. You do not have to stop to cool down. No other large land animal does this as effectively as you do. And that independence is the key to everything that followed. But sweat glands alone are not the full story. There is a second piece of the puzzle that most people never think about: the almost total absence of body hair. Your closest primate relatives, chimpanzees and gorillas, are covered in dense fur. That fur traps heat close to the body, which is useful in cold environments. But in extreme midday heat, it becomes a serious liability. Somewhere between 1 and 2 million years ago, our ancestors began losing that coat. The fossil and genetic record suggests it happened gradually, across many generations, and the reason was almost certainly thermoregulation. Bare skin exposed to moving air loses heat far more efficiently than fur-covered skin, and bare skin covered in sweat, exposed to moving air, loses heat faster still. The combination of hairlessness and active sweat glands gave early humans something remarkable: a body designed to operate at full capacity in the conditions that shut everything else down. Anthropologist Daniel Lieberman at Harvard has spent years studying exactly this. He describes the human body as the best long-distance endurance machine that evolution has ever produced. Not because of our legs alone, not because of our lungs alone, but because of our skin. The skin is the engine of human endurance. Think about what this meant on the open African savanna 2 million years ago. Every other large predator hunted at dawn or dusk when temperatures were low. Lions hunt at dawn. Leopards hunt at dusk. Hyenas hunt through the night. The midday hours belonged to no predator at all. The sun drove every large hunter into the shade. The prey animals stood still and panted and waited for the heat to pass. And into that empty window stepped the naked, sweating, relentlessly jogging human. Anthropologists call this the endurance niche, a slot in the ecosystem that was essentially unoccupied until we arrived to fill it. We did not compete with lions by being stronger than lions. We competed at noon, when the lions were sleeping in the shade. The Kalahari Sand People, one of the oldest living cultures on Earth, still practice persistence hunting today. Researchers have documented individual hunts lasting up to 8 hours. A single hunter follows a single animal across dozens of kilometers of open terrain. The animal runs hard. The hunter follows at a steady pace. The animal rests to pant and recover. The hunter closes the distance. The animal runs again. The hunter follows again. This continues over and over under the full midday sun, until the animal simply can no longer run. It does not die from exhaustion the way we usually imagine. It dies from hyperthermia. Its brain overheats past the point of function. Because unlike the human following behind it, the animal has no effective way to shed heat while moving. Its own thermoregulation system becomes the trap it cannot escape. The human wins not by going faster, but by staying cooler. Now think about what had to be true for this to work at a biological level. The human body had to evolve not just any sweat glands, but the right kind. Eccrine glands, which cover most of your skin, produce a thin and watery sweat. This is precisely the type ideal for evaporative cooling. Other mammals rely more heavily on apocrine glands, which produce a thicker and oilier secretion. Those glands do not cool efficiently. You have roughly 10 times more eccrine glands per square centimeter of skin than a chimpanzee. Your skin is not just bare, it is specifically engineered for heat transfer. There is also the blood flow system working in parallel. When your core temperature rises, blood vessels near the surface of your skin dilate. Blood is routed closer to the skin, where it can release heat directly into the surrounding air. Your face flushes, your ears turn red. Your skin feels warm to the touch. That is not a malfunction or a sign of weakness. That is a precision cooling system activating exactly as it was designed to. The heat you feel radiating off your skin is heat that is no longer inside your body. Every flush, every bead of sweat is the system working perfectly. There is something else worth understanding about human sweat that almost nobody talks about. We are the only animal known to sweat for purely emotional reasons. Fear sweat, stress sweat, embarrassment sweat. The nervous system triggers eccrine glands in moments of psychological tension. Researchers believe this evolved as a grip enhancement reflex. When a primate is frightened, slightly moist palms grip branches more reliably. Your sweaty palms before a difficult moment are an ancient signal from a body that once lived in trees. The same system that cooled your ancestors across 30 kilometers of savanna is reading your emotional state right now. It is older than language. It is older than fire. It is one of the most intimate connections between you and the body that evolution spent millions of years building. In 2004, a researcher named Dennis Bramble published a landmark paper in the journal Nature. The title was Born to Run. Bramble and Lieberman argued that endurance running was not simply a byproduct of human evolution. It was one of the primary drivers of it. The anatomical features that make humans effective distance runners did not appear randomly. The Achilles tendon, the arch of the foot, the nuchal ligament that holds the head steady while running, the wide, powerful gluteal muscles that do not exist at this scale in any other primate. These features appeared together in the fossil record, all within roughly the same time period, 2 million years ago, the same era when the hairlessness and the eccrine gland density came online. The whole body was being shaped by natural selection for a single coordinated purpose, the ability to run long distances and stay cool while doing it. You are not a creature that happened to learn to run. You are a creature that was built specifically for it, built to run precisely when nothing else on the savanna could. That is not poetry or metaphor. That is your skeleton, your tendons, your skin, your glands, all pointing in the same direction. When a lion sprints, It is doing what its body has always done. When you run a marathon in summer heat, you are doing something stranger and more remarkable. You are operating a machine that was specifically designed 2 million years ago to outlast everything alive. Now consider what happened when humans began moving out of Africa into different environments. Cold forests and Arctic tundra do not favor the sweating long-distance runner. Snow eliminates the advantage of evaporative cooling almost entirely. So, human populations in colder climates began adapting in different ways. Slightly different fat distribution, different metabolic responses to cold, different blood vessel behavior. The thermoregulatory system became one of the most environmentally variable systems in the entire human body. But the core capacity remained everywhere. Even in populations that moved far from the African savanna, eccrine gland density stayed high. The deep architecture of the cooling system stayed built in. Because when a survival mechanism works for 2 million years, it does not simply disappear. It travels with you. Now here is where this becomes personal. The modern world has largely removed the conditions under which this system was meant to shine. We live inside air conditioning. We sit at desks in controlled rooms. We move between climate-controlled spaces without ever letting the body do what it was built to do. The sweating body has become something to manage, to suppress, and to apologize for. We buy products specifically designed to stop the sweat before it starts. We treat flushed red skin as something embarrassing. We have taken one of the most sophisticated biological systems in the animal kingdom and decided it is an inconvenience. But the system itself has not changed. It is still there, in full working order, waiting. Every time you push through a long effort in real heat, something ancient activates. Your body settles into a rhythm it has always known. Every time you sweat through something difficult instead of escaping into the cold, you are running ancient code. 2 million years old and still functioning perfectly. Your body knows exactly what to do with heat. It always has. And here is what that means for you, right now, in the body you are in. You are not a soft, modern creature struggling to cope with warmth. You are the direct descendant of the animal that hunted at noon when everything else hid from the sun. Every drop of sweat on a hard run is the same system that once walked down a kudu, on the open savanna, under the full midday sun. Every flushed face after real effort is the cooling engine that no other predator could match. You were not built to hide from the heat. You were built to hunt in it. That is not inspiration. That is biology. And it is running in you right now. Here is a number that makes this concrete. A human running at a moderate pace in warm weather can sustain that pace for hours. A horse can outrun a human over short distances without any question. But in a race longer than roughly 80 kilometers, in heat above 30 degrees, the human wins. This has actually been tested. The man versus horse marathon in Wales has been run annually since 1980. A human runner has beaten the horse on multiple occasions, in hot years. Not because humans are faster than horses on a single stretch of road, because horses overheat and humans do not. The advantage is not speed. The advantage is thermal endurance. Think about what a marathon actually is through this lens. 26 miles of sustained effort, often in warm weather. Every runner crosses the finish line, drenched in sweat, face flushed, body radiating heat. To most observers, it looks like suffering, but biologically, it is a precision performance. The body routing blood to muscles and skin simultaneously. The eccrine glands producing up to 2 liters of sweat per hour at peak effort. The core temperature staying within a narrow, safe range despite enormous heat production. That is not suffering through the run. That is the cooling machine operating at high capacity, exactly as designed. There is a reason trained endurance athletes sweat more than untrained people, not less. Fitness improves the cooling system. A trained body begins sweating sooner, sweats more efficiently, and recovers thermal equilibrium faster. The better you train the body, the better the 2 million-year-old system performs. It was built to be used. And it responds to use by becoming more capable. Now consider the cheetah for a moment, the fastest land animal on Earth. It can accelerate to over 100 kilometers per hour in seconds. It is an extraordinary machine. But a cheetah can only sustain a full sprint for about 30 seconds. After that, its body temperature is dangerously high. It has to stop, lie down, and spend up to 30 minutes cooling before it can eat its kill. If another predator arrives in that window, the cheetah cannot defend the meal. The fastest creature alive is held hostage by its own heat. You are slower than a cheetah by every measure of raw speed, but you could run past a resting cheetah and never stop. Your body would be managing the heat before the cheetah had finished cooling down. This is not a competition anyone set up. It is just what the physics of thermoregulation looks like when you compare the two systems. One is fast and fragile in heat. One is steady and nearly unstoppable in it. And you are the second one. There is one more layer to this that is worth understanding. The human brain is more temperature sensitive than the brains of most other mammals. Overheating is more dangerous for us cognitively than for many other animals. So the body evolved a separate system specifically to protect the brain from heat. A network of blood vessels at the base of the skull acts as a heat exchanger. Cooled venous blood from the face and scalp passes close to arterial blood heading to the brain. Heat transfers out before the blood reaches the most sensitive tissue. Sweating on the face and scalp is not an efficiency. It is targeted cooling of the most critical organ. The system is not just keeping the body running. It is specifically protecting the part of you that thinks. So the sweat on your forehead during a hard effort is not random. It is the body prioritizing the brain the way it always has. The whole architecture points toward one conclusion. This was not accidental. Evolution did not stumble into a creature that could tolerate heat. It built one specifically designed to dominate in it. Every system supports every other system. The bare skin, the eccrine glands, the dilating blood vessels, the brain cooling network, the Achilles tendon and the gluteal muscles and the stabilizing ligaments. All of it shaped by the same pressure over the same 2 million years. Make this creature unstoppable at noon. That creature is you.